Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2020 Saleen Sportruck XR Black label. Now this is based on the 13th generation of the Ford F-150 platform, but it's had a massive overhaul, not just in terms of, engine output or power or torque, but in terms of its general looks and its off-road capability. And yeah, especially in comparison to, your likes of your Hennessy, F-150 based vehicles, this is definitely a more off-road orientated vehicle, and as evidenced by the fact it's got 12 inches of suspension travel at the front and 14 inches of travel at the rear. It's got coil-over shocks to level out the front with the rear when you're going uphill or anything like that, or over bumps. It's got a new upper and lower control arms and 13-inch vented front and rear disc brakes, along with modified bodywork. So it's got a performance hood, it's got a bull bar at the front. You can see the suspension there at the bottom with the Saleen on it, and the Fox as well. So yeah, plenty of heavy duty suspension work there. You got these new side step plates, got plenty of Saleen labels on the side and on the front and the like. And on the back you got the Saleen label. You've got the nice pickup truck bed still, so it's still a practical car, but it's also an off-road beast, as you can see by the big fat chunky tyres. I really like the look of the rims, by the way. They're nice and simple, but they look pretty decent as well. So yeah, and to top all that off, it's still got plenty of space inside. All the usual kind of Ford accompaniments, but with an extra special bits in like the Saleen badges, and yeah, the white on black dials. As you can see, I really like those dials. And yeah, but you've also still got plenty of room in the back, so if you want to use this as a day-to-day vehicle, then you can do so. So not only do you have plenty of space in the pickup bed, but you have plenty of space in the rear for your passengers. So it's an overhauled car, a heavily modified car as well, but not one that's been stupidly done. It's not ripped out seats and interiors or anything like that. It's kept everything quite modest in the interior and in terms of its practicality and its usability on a day-to-day basis. But then it's got a great big whopping V8 under the bonnet as well at 5 litres. It's supercharged and it produces 700 horsepower and 600 pounds-feet of torque, which is, yeah, a huge amount of power there. And yeah, that's mounted to a 10-speed gearbox, automatic, and yeah, again, that's from Ford. And yeah, all in all, it's a very impressive vehicle. It's far more capable off-road than a lot of other sport trucks like this, but it's also capable on-road, and as you can see, it's more than able to be a day-to-day user vehicle, as well as being reasonably practical as well. So yeah, but it still does weigh a lot at 5,720 pounds. Obviously not as much as the Hummer EV that we've looked at recently, which is obviously another pickup truck, but yeah, it's still quite a weighty beast. But yeah, it's got plenty of power to compensate for that weight. So yeah, let's get out onto the open road and see what this car can do. So with all of that power on tap, it's inevitably going to be quite a quick car, even for a vehicle that weighs as much as it does, and obviously has all-wheel drive, and it's more of an off-road vehicle than anything. But yeah, it's still a quick car in a straight line. So let's see how quick. I get it down this drag strip and see what it can do before we hit the speed camera. Then we'll go a little bit off-roading, and then we'll go on the track. So yeah, we'll use the launch control to get us off the line pretty sharpish. Decently revving engine at 6,500 RPM, but it's no high revving V8 that we've come accustomed to from the likes of Ford, for instance. But it's still pretty sharpish, as you can see, using that 10-speed gearbox really rather nicely. Although, yeah, we'll only get it to about 7th gear on this straight. But yeah, 122 mile an hour I think was there, which is pretty nice. So yeah, let's take a look at what it can do on this off-road course. So yeah, as you'd expect, with all-wheel drive, those big chunky tyres, all of the suspension travel and other suspension overhauls that it's had going on with it, and the power to get through any dirt or anything like that, it's more than capable of dealing with the off-road stuff. Obviously this isn't the most challenging of off-road courses or anything like that, but it's still a far more challenging than what anything that any crossover or SUV that considered itself an off-road vehicle, even though it's really would have never been able to manage, quite frankly. So yeah, there we go, just a quick look at it off-road. So let's get around to the track.
So yeah, it's far better on track than you would expect it to be, given again its weighty body. It's in fact it's more off-road orientated. But yeah, it's far better handling than I expected it to be. I expected this to be just a one-trick pony and just being able to go off-road and be fairly useless in every other regard, but it's really not. Straight line speed is good, and yeah, it's reasonably good in terms of handling as well. As you should start to see in a second. So yeah, you can have plenty of fun with it even though it's got all-wheel drive. It's got some good old school four-wheel drive drifts going for you. So let's look at the stats before we hit the track. Nope, we don't want that. There we go. So yeah, rivals, we're in mid-high B class, so fairly good for a truck of this size. And yeah, the speed, the acceleration, the launch, and even the braking in some respects are all fairly solid. Obviously the handling isn't great, but it does feel better than that stat gives any credit for. And the off-road capability is obviously superb. Not that that would help it on this track. So yeah. But as per usual, we'll take a listen to the engine first before we talk about it some more. But yeah, this is really a fantastic car, and you can get it in the newly released racing car pack. So yeah, let's see what it sounds like. So yeah, as you can hear, it's got a really nice sounding V8, you've got that supercharger whine over it as well. So yeah, it's a very intoxicating car to listen to and drive as a result. And yeah, it's the first Saleen truck that we've had on a Forza game for a hell of a long time. The last one we had was the S331 Super Cab, which was on Forza Motorsport 4. So you know, you're talking well over a decade. So yeah, it's about time that we had another Saleen truck on these Forza games. I would like that Super Cab to make a return though as well, because that was also ridiculously powerful, although not quite as powerful as this, but then again it's a far older car, so that's to be expected. But yeah, this on its own is really rather good. It's far better handling, like I said, than you expect it to be. Obviously you've got to bear in mind that it is a high riding truck. It's got a high centre of gravity, it's got off-road tyres, it's got a lot of weight, so it's not going to be, you know, like your Alfa Romeo Stelvio or, you know, or your Maserati or anything like that, you know, your other kind of SUVs that are more sporty. But this is still capable enough around the track, and yeah, that shows in terms of its acceleration. You can do 0 to 60 in 4.661 seconds, 0 to 110.774 seconds, and going to a reasonably top speed of 156 miles an hour. Obviously those acceleration times aren't as good as, say, the Hummer EV, but it does have this that Hummer licked in terms of its top speed, and because it weighs less, it's a little bit more controllable in terms of its, you know, overall handling. Although the all-wheel drive system on the Hummer is a lot more sophisticated, because obviously it has the electric motors working on each wheel in tandem, so you know you can shift the power around a lot more sophisticated in a more sophisticated manner than this can. But still, it's, as for a truck of this type, it is really rather good handling, and yeah, at the end of the day, it's about how much fun it is, and it's fun to listen to, it's fun to drive, especially off-road, and yeah, I think it looks really rather good as well, as you might well hopefully agree with me. So yeah, like I said earlier, this is part of the racing car pack. Get it for £4-5 or whatever it is, $4 or $5, so it's not expensive at all, and you get this alongside the Lotus Emira, which I've already reviewed, which is a fantastic sports car. You also get it alongside the Pagani Huayra R, which is a racing version of the Huayra, and a Nissan Altima, I think it is. It's a drift version, basically from Forsberg Racing. And yeah, I've yet to try out those two cars after trying this and the Lotus, but I'm sure they're pretty good as well. But yeah, I got this pack purely for the Lotus and this truck, because the two that I really rather like. And yeah, in terms of the Lotus at least, it's one I've wanted for a while. The Saleen, hadn't heard of it before the car pack, but
I'm glad it's in the car park because it is one of my favourite off-road trucks to try out. So yeah, get out of there and get that car park if you haven't already, and if you have, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the vehicles included. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.